Hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Obscure podcast. Today we're going back to 1990, and we're going to be talking about a little sequel called The Gate 2, Trespassers. The Gate 2, Trespassers serves as a direct sequel to the 1987 cult horror film, The Gate. The story follows teenage protagonist Terry Chandler, played by Louis Tripp, who is still recovering from the traumatic events of the first film. Left alone after the events of his parents' departure, Terry discovers that the demonic gate in his backyard has reactivated.
Demonology.
Evil against evil.
Interdimensional contact with beings whose power can be used for anything you want. Anything.
Inquisitive and drawn to the supernatural, Terry delves into the mysteries of the gate once again. His curiosities lead him to a series of occult experiments where he inadvertently summons a malevolent demon named Zagnut. As Zagnut gains strength, he possesses Sean, threatens to unleash chaos and evil upon the world.
What are you doing? Are you nuts? You stupid idiot! The dead! That's the smell of the dead! It's working!
Hot nacho cheese, mother of Christ! I'm not supposed to get excited!
Stay inside the circle! It's the other side!
Whoa! That was amazing, man!
Now I want to start off first by saying that the original 1986 film, The Gate, is one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's such a good film that you can show either like a little bit older of kids into teenage kids who are a little more sensitive to horror but that want to check out horror movies, where it has just enough frights in it and scares and some really cool like little gooey gore effects that it won't frighten them too much or traumatize them. Now, as far as this sequel goes, I would say it does the same thing. Now, The Gate 2 Trespassers reminds me a lot of stuff like Pet Sematary 2 or even something bigger like Ghostbusters 2, where it does things just enough to be similar, but just enough to also be different and do its own little direction. Now, for The Gate 2 Trespassers, they do that, and it actually works out pretty well. Now, I'm not sure the time frame of this movie. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a year later, 2 years later, or whatever. It feels like it's later than that because the movies were about 4 years apart. Now, a lot of it takes place in his basement, Terry's basement, or he goes to the house that originally they were in the first film. And that's where he actually does the summoning at. Now, the movie itself is pretty good, like I said. I mean, well, it's cool, and I like it a lot, actually. But some of the best parts of it, in my opinion, are the acting is fantastic. And I really, really like that they use the same type of special effects that they did from the first movie. Now, I will say that this one feels a little bit less of a budget, and it's a little bit more minimal, but they still do a lot of really cool practical effects. Now, there's a really funny scene in this movie where these like two bully guys, they go to this like restaurant and they had stole the demon from Terry, and they were able to use wishes from it, and they wish for money and everything, and they're at this fancy restaurant, and when they go to pay, he goes to put down the money and it just turns to shit, and it is gross, but it is really funny. And then that leads also to a really crazy scene of where one of the guys had gotten bitten previously by the demon, and he starts to get like really gross and like pussy, and like it's just disgusting, and kind of like he looks like he's melting down. And those are some pretty cool special effects too in this movie. Now, it's not a perfect sequel by any means, but I still think it's one of the better sequels out there of horror films. If you like something a little bit more on the low budget side, I think you will enjoy this. And if you just like watching movies with demons and weird, funny shit in it, I think you'll enjoy this as well. Now, is it for everybody? No. Is it for me? Yes. Will it be for you? Possibly. But yeah, I give this one a high ranking. It has a lot of stuff in it that also even has a little touching moments where between like Terry and his father, because he very much cares about his father in this movie and wants him to do good, even though things go chaotic at one point. But it does have a little bit more heart to the movie than you would expect. I think the first film also has heart too, but this one does have some heart to it as well, especially for a horror film. Overall, I would say definitely check this one out if you can get a chance to, and come back for the next episode, guys. All right.